change. So we believe after the conversation that occurred last week that we should just bring it right back down to that 975 again. So,
Yeah.
okay, so that's the plan. So now, also, the positive part about that is that the annual meeting, everything that we're gonna talk about ends up with a mill rate at 975.
Right. Well, this is actually, what was in the paper was the 975.
Right.
Correct.
And this is the
975
update,
is
but
in
we're
the paper.
gonna put it back to what it was.
Yep.
And we actually put out the annual packets that we put out, which speaks to what was last week, is if the taxpayer were to come in, that packet is based off of last week's information.
Okay.
Right.
So it wouldn't be good to say, oh, we're raising it a little bit.
You know,
No, we're trying-
Well, last year we did because of the vouchers. We didn't know that at that time.
Well, the other thing I wanted to mention is that everything in this revenue limit worksheet was completed by the DPI at this point in time, right?
I checked today
Before,
again.
we have to enter, we have
Yeah.
to self-report.
They did another update today, but none of our stuff changed since the 15th.
Yeah, good.
That had to feel good.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so then Ryan, we're all set then.
I don't, yeah, and I think our revenues are in a good spot. There's no expenses that would change. Any hire that would be done, say next Monday, there won't be any.
I'll have to send you what I got too, because we basically can get this paid out pretty twice as fast as what I should say, but I think the issue would always to be taking a look and make sure we can back off that 4% per year and still hit that average of 608 at the end term. I projected is 10 years paying that off.
That'd be phenomenal.
Yeah.
So we need to engage with our financial.
I've got I've got the numbers, I can send those to you, because I already did all those to try to figure out what our average needs to be, still back off 4% every year based upon that valuation going up.
Send them our way.
Yeah, I'll send them our way.
Awesome, that's great.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
New business. We have resolution 1920-89, approval to hire Barbara Byer for special ed paraprofessional at the middle school. So moved. Motion by Joe, seconded by
Dick?
Dick.
So, right now, we are actually significantly understaffed when it comes to the paraprofessionals for the school year. We have, even after these hires, 3 vacancies still. So, and the conversation on this topic just today was with the amount of move-ins and changes in student needs for our Cardinal Academy that we have. It's our alternative emotional needs program, that we may actually come back and recommend to hire a teacher in lieu of a couple aides because the needs are present. So we're gonna have another conversation on that, but I want to share with you that when we bring these to you, we are actually short still even with these 3 positions. And there's conversations about having needs at Parkview that we could use another staff member to help support too. So 2019-20 is what this comes down to, and just the student needs that are, when they come to us, and a lot of this is the mental health needs, is when we're looking at the support staff positions, but not all of them. So, like right now, this hire simply says 37.5 hours a week at labor grade 3 as a paraprofessional for the high school, and right now at the high school, we are actually short paraprofessional to support our transition program. Our intellectual disability program is looking for the right fit. So I'm excited to see a hire there. They've been short since the beginning of the school year.
Okay, any questions on this approval to hire?
So this one for Barbara Byer, it
Yeah.
says middle school and then it says high school?
This would be high school.
Okay. Do we need to change that then?
So the letter's okay. What's the resolution?
The resolution says middle school.
Yeah, then I would. Yep.
But on the agenda, it says Park.
Yeah, on the agenda it says Parkview as well.
So let's look at the rest of these ones, because I've got a Parkview, a middle school, and a high school. So
It says
Janet was not in the district today, so I'm gonna go look at the other ones.
Malia, it says is
Verify.
Parkview.
Malia is on
We
Parkview.
got a Parkview. So she uploaded them to the wrong resolution,
Okay.
is the deal. So we've got a Parkview, a high school so far.
Oh, and the other one, Jody says high school as well.
And the high school, so there's 2 high schools and 1 Parkview.
Is one of the high schools
See,
supposed
I-
to be a middle school?
I think they could have all been one resolution to approve special education paraprofessionals for the school district. Just so you're aware, to me, these things are a protocol, but all support staff technically only have to be done by the superintendent. But it's been a protocol since the beginning of time here, so we're just gonna keep plugging away. So I would say,
Make a motion to amend the resolution to strike out middle school. And it'll just be for the
There you go.
Mayville School District.
Excellent solution.
perfect.
So motion been made by Joe to amend the resolution to remove middle school. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second by Jenny. Any discussion on removing this? So we're gonna vote on amending the resolution to remove middle school from this resolution. Joe?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried 5-0-2. Now we need to vote on the amended resolution. Is there any discussion on the amended resolution? Joe?
Aye.
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 Motion carried 5-0-2. Resolution 1920-90, approval of to hire Malia Selson for special education at Parkview.
So moved.
Motion by Joel,
I'll second it.
second by Dick.
Second by Dan. Make a motion to amend the resolution to scratch out Parkview from the school district.
I'll second that one.
Motion's been made and seconded to amend the resolution to remove Parkview primary from the resolution. Any discussion on it? Joe?
Aye.
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 Motion carried 5-0-2. Now we need to vote on the amended resolution. Any discussion on the amended resolution, which is removing Parkview primary from the resolution? Joe?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0-2. Resolution 1920-91, approve to hire Jody Turnus for special education at the high school.
Is this right, correct? Al?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. So moved.
Motion by Joe,
Second.
second by Jim. Any questions on this resolution to hire Jody?
I thought I had one, but I can't get it up here. Was she the one that got a little more money?
Mr. Porter,
And she got him a little more experience there?
let's get to it.
Okay.
Sorry, just can't. Kara was here this afternoon, and this topic was more about overall staffing, not about one particular individual.
Joe?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0-2.
Moving ahead, the conversation has been with all the directors. If you have an agenda item on this, you will be at the meeting. So she can speak to the quarter. So I will want to say one thing too, like best practice would not be to have actually Parkview with middle school and high school in the agenda.
Right.
It should just be paraprofessional for the school district.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
That way we can shift.
2 weeks from now, they may end up having to move.
Right.
And we have not been bringing that to you because it's not necessary, so we really should just keep it simple and not have those meetings in there moving ahead, so that would, I don't think since I've been here in the 3+ years that we've had the mix-up, so we can avoid that entirely, so thank you.
Resolution 1920-92, approval of co-curricular coaching contracts for 2019-2020 winter sports. Any motion?
So, second.
Jim, second by Dick. Okay, Tom?
What is that? Yeah.
Back there in the dark.
I'm hiding.
Lights have been off all day, we've been saving energy.
Sure.
So it's not black back there.
So pretty straightforward,
What's up?
as far as the 3 sports that we have in the winter. Wrestling, we added another we can start there. Wrestling, we added one more volunteer coach. We have two co-head coaches right now, Austin Haig, who is kind of the technician, and Vince Wild, who is more of the administrative piece. Both of them been in the program now for 4 years. We are recruiting heavily to try to bring that program back from the, however you want to say that. We need to get more kids out for wrestling. And I think this year we've got a few freshmen that are going to come out, in addition to some pretty good wrestlers that we got coming back. So we should be better than last year in that regard, but that's a tough one. The wrestling's hard work, and not all.
I had a question for you. So I was at an event the other day, and they were talking about teams co-oping. And some of these are pretty large schools that are co-oping still.
Right.
So
We explored some preliminary conversations. We were looking with Oakfield perhaps, and also we had some conversations, or I had some conversations with Glenn Falkenthal over at Husisford High School. Just neither school nor were our coaches really ready to do that, but we're looking. I think now that we're going to have a wrestling room on the stage in the gymnasium, we're going to pad the walls. I bought all the padding to pad the walls on the stage, have it up there at the high school rather than down at the middle school. Can be a little bit more attractive. We've got 5 home wrestling matches this year instead of the 2 that we had last year, so the schedule balanced out. So, the more kids see it, the more likely it is for some of those kids to actually get involved.
the one positive thing too with wrestling is it is an individual sport.
Yeah.
Like, so they may not have enough people to compete at a team level, but at least individually.
Yeah. Last year we had a freshman that was a conference champ. He's coming back. He's a really nice football player this fall for us, and he'll be formidable again. We got another Jackson Schlender's coming back, who also was a place winner in conference. So we've got some good ones. We've got some good freshmen coming up, but it is a numbers game if you want to start competing for a team, in the conference. But right now we're really looking at it as an individual sport, and we're not worried so much about winning meets against other teams. We're worried about having the 8-9 wrestlers do well, and if we can do that, we'll start building that. I've got confidence in that group, and I think, like I said, having them up at the high school is going to help a lot, and hopefully anyway. On the basketball side of things, the girls program, Liz Cook and Danny Steiner would be the 2 coaches. We're still working to get a 3rd level. That's one of the things that bugs me a little bit, that we only have 2 levels of girls basketball. What I find in that area, we have a lot of specialization statewide and countrywide when it comes to, especially girls athletics. We seem to have a little bit more multi-sport in boys, but we have huge numbers in volleyball, and I don't know how many of our kids actually play club volleyball year-round, but there are a considerable number of that. And then they don't, soccer's always been one that has been a very club-oriented sport, and we have quite a few girls play girls soccer. But we do have some multi-sport there, and just really like to see 3 levels of girls basketball. But right now we have 2. Preliminary signups were around 18 to 20 so far that I've seen, and which should field, I think there's 6 freshmen in there, so that would definitely be able to field a varsity and a JV team at this point. You really want that number to be in the 30s so you can have 3 full ones, but that's where we're at with that. Matt Hertini brings back the majority of his staff, and he adds Ted Anderson to be the head basketball JV 2 boys. Austin Kneprath, with his schedule at the open door, he can't be at practice every night. So they're splitting a contract at the JV2 level. I think they're in the low 30s right now as the sign-up sheet as I saw. So 3 teams there should be fine. Matt does share his contract with Tyler Walker, who was a former athlete here at Mayville back in the day, and played basketball at Concordia. So he's back for his 2nd year to be an assistant. And Matt does share his contract because we do not have a paid assistant coach for basketball. So that's pretty generous of him to do that. And John Schultz has got the most years of experience, and he's the JV coach for the boys. I actually coached with John back when our kids were in 2nd grade, so like us here the first time. So he's been around basketball for a long, long time, and I think y'all know who his daughter is. She's out in Portland State right now.
Yeah.
At the middle school level, Troy Rosedal is back, as well as Mike Survey. They've been doing that for a few years now, and pretty sure that's about it. We do have some volunteer coaches there, as you can see on the bottom. Rob Goldner is a new face. He tried to get involved last year, but he brings a lot of wrestling experience and he wants to help out. But as it worked out last year, it was just too late in the season for him to get too involved. So he's going to be, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a full-time volunteer assistant with the wrestling program. Clay Gerhardt and Bill Lee have been around forever.
They're gonna be on the sidelines, period.
Well, you know, and Jimmy Drinkline, Mark Wolf, Justin Yankee will be a middle school wrestling coach. So I know I got middle school volleyball. That starts up after boys middle school basketball. So that's kind of a goofy thing. It doesn't. We have these seasons kind of overlapping in middle school, which is kind of new for me to get a handle on because it doesn't really have a winter season. It's kind of a combination between winter and spring there. So we listed those there for now as well. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell there.
And then on the back side of this, there's two pages. The second page is actually the compensation model, just to see. And you can see that for our girls JV2, there is kind of saving a spot if we ever have a program. Here's what the comp model looks like. And also for middle school wrestling. So they're out there, they're not filled based upon student enrollment or student participation.
Yeah, and if we can get those, that would be awesome. That's something we're working for.
Is our compensation model similar, very competitive with, compared to other districts? I mean, how are we, 'cause I know a few years ago we updated quite a bit, but now I don't know where we're at.
Yeah, the last update was about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I can speak, back when I was at Hartford with a larger school, the compensation was a bit higher there at the larger schools, but it's pretty, I can honestly tell you, if any of these people are doing this for the stipend they're getting, we're doing it for the wrong reason.
It is something to look at though. I think that'd be good for us to do this upcoming year, to do some comps. So to get ready for the future. We haven't looked at it for 5 years. It's time. The one part that I would say is a benefit that our model actually has the tiers in it. So if you go to that second page, and that's why I included it in it, that there is an incentive for seniority, for sticking it out. So like there's a big difference between your first year coach and 8 years in compensation. So that's what I would say is that's what's great about us here, because some schools, it's a flat rate. You get paid and then they look every year and say, okay, how are we doing? If we're competitive, we leave it alone. But for ours, naturally, if they do the years of service, there are increases in the model itself.
And to piggyback off of that, coaches that have experience are much better, as same with teachers, with the classroom management, the team management, the experience, the coaching, how to handle things, all the inventory and the administrative duties that go along with it. So experience does matter a great deal, I think, and just in all of my experiences in coaching.
And I agree with Tom. Most of the coaches are doing it, like you say, because they love it. But I don't believe in taking advantage of people.
No, I agree. And they all know when they're going to get paid, so they're interested in when that stipend's coming. But at the end of the day, it's more for most of them. It's for a lot of like my football staff. They'll tell me, that's kind of like just some fun money, some additional money they get at the end that they can go buy something that they wanted or something, rather than something that they kind of budgeted with.
I know that we have revisited the co-curricular ones on an annual basis. So when our club advisors come in, they say, hey, here's how much time I put into it. I really would like you to consider this. We have absolutely looked at those every single time. So right now I'm actually talking to an advisor about their compensation and just asking, hey, well, show me how much time you put into it, because we do have a model. So, but the model is about the time, and that's where these percentages come from. And so so right now, this base actually says, I said 5 years ago, right? Well, you might have looked 5 years ago, but the base itself was determined in 2010-11. That's the number that's being carried forward. So I like actually keeping that number in there so we can be mindful of it, paying attention to that. So again, I think it's a good time for us to look at this, to see what some of the other comps that are out there. But I do know that for me, this is unique, seeing the tiers like that. So we naturally have some increases coming. Some of the club advisors did get increases this year. So, but it's one big, it depends. So if they hit that 4-year mark, there you go. Actually, for the club ones that were just approved like a month ago, I mapped out where you could see the years of service were, and I highlighted them in colors, and you can see so many new people. A lot of changes over that. So we've new in the middle and very few with lots of years of service in the club goals.
The Flyway Conference athletic directors are a really good group of people, and we share a lot of information, so if we wanted to, you know, they'll share everything with us very quickly, and we can do, I mean, maybe that's something we can do at the Flyway Conference level, and just do it at one of our AD meetings and then bring it back to each of our boards.
Yeah, that's great.
Any questions for Tom on this resolution? Jim? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0-2. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We did that in one second.
Jim, Dick.
Okay, awesome.
Resolution 1920-93, approval of revised bid for van purchase. Motion by Joe. Second by
I'll second it.
Dick. Travis?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So, the van, it's been kind of a little messy. So, I was actually going to come here tonight and ask for additional money for a van purchase, but Dick had come across this one here that's got 5,000 miles on it. It's a 2018. I'm going to take a look at it tomorrow, but it is only $19,918. So, I'm going to suggest that we go with this as long as it checks out.
Is it a Toyota or a Honda?
Oh, it's a Dodge Caravan.
It's still the same, it's still the
So
same.
same what we were looking at. It's
Yeah.
just used. It's got 5,000 miles.
I do got a question for you when you're looking at that. Are you trying to pay the sticker price that the dealership has?
You know, I've already tried to work them. I tried to work all these
I
guys.
tried to work all of them that I checked into. You know, I caught this because, you know, they said they were giving a big discount on the one that he was getting. And this time of the year is when they all got big discounts.
I'm just letting you know for a used vehicle. But, no,
Well,
that's just.
I've got all
No,
the,
I'm just saying.
I've got used
are they-
vehicles with 11,000 miles.
Their
on it.
internet price and their discount price, what are we planning on getting?
Well, their internet price is $9,918.
19,000.
Or
If it's 9,000,
19,000.
go.
Yeah.
Go.
$3,919, I usually know what those go for and what their probably percentage profit has to be. What kind of discount off that do they plan to give?
They don't plan on giving any discount.
They don't plan to give a discount.
Because it's not a.
No, that's a
fleet.
28,000.
Well, I got that, it's not a fleet, it's a retail purchase, but you're nuts if we pay that much. So, I'm gonna
What
let
would
you
you
know
suggest
for
we pay?
everyone else that's out there, if a customer would to go in there and they said, I will take that car for $19,000, if they didn't do the deal, I would be shocked.
That is a.
I'm just letting you know. Tell
Okay.
them, it's a deal at this is where we're at. And
They
save
were at
yourself
21,000
$900.
2 weeks ago and they
So,
lowered it.
because just to let you know, there's probably, how long has it been on their lot for?
No, I don't know.
That you gotta look at the window sticker.
Yep, the longer it's been on the lot, the less room they're gonna have. The
This
longer
is the
they'll-
time of the year, usually in December.
No, it's not a good time of year, I'm just letting you know, not for used vehicles, that doesn't matter.
No.
So it's just how long it's been on their lot. If it's been on their lot a short amount of time, they've got more room. If it's been on their lot more than 60 days, their room is probably less, but I still think that if you offer them about 19,000, I think.
19,000.
Well, here's one
So-
thing I will say, we got a board meeting next week. So you guys have to decide whether or not you want to present that one that came in now, or if you want to do some work and have it, like, do you want to not to
That had a list
receive
price over
amount?
29,000.
No, I know, that's just nonsense. That's just to get somebody to buy. It's
So-
sale.
can we have the approval to do the 19,918, and I'll do my darndest to get it for that?
Well, I would, I'd say, for me, you guys can do whatever you want, I'm gonna abstain anyways. I think that 19,000 is a fair number to that dealership.